NXT Takeover in your house, NXT Takeover in my house, NXT Takeover in your grandmother's house. It doesn't matter where it is. Whatever house it's in, it's going to blow the roof off. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here is your NXT Takeover in your house full show preview. I'm going to go over every single match on the card. Not only that, I'm going to give you my predictions as well. Now, I don't mean like to be one of those people that get overexcited, but if you look at this card and you look at the matches that are on it, this does have the capability to be one of, if not the best wrestling shows of the year. If you are a wrestling fan, not a wrestling fan, have nothing to do on a Sunday night, I would highly urge you to watch this show, because this show is going to be most likely what wrestling is all about. Hit the like button, subscribe, do everything that you have to do. Go nowhere else. NXT Takeover in your house preview. To all the new subscribers that have found their way to my channel, thank you. You have no idea what you've just stumbled across, because this right here is going to be one of your favorite YouTube channels. Comedic intros, sports wrestling, all of the kind of reviews that exactly you're looking for each and every day. It is the one-stop shop. We have just passed and are making our way to 500 subscribers. Again, I thank everybody that continues to watch this. But today we're going to talk about exactly what that intro said. We're going to talk about NXT Takeover in your house. I'm going to give you the full preview of the card, which is very, very good. And I'm going to give you my predictions as well. One of the things that I do want to talk about is that if you're one of those people that is constantly into wrestling, NXT is your one-stop shop for all of that. This card right here looks to be pretty damn good. One of the things that I don't like is some of these matches were already pre-recorded. If you're one of those people that you know, are into spoilers, please keep the spoilers away. It's not something that we want to see, because again, all of this pandemic is just a complete cluster, and it is screwing up everything. But we're going to preview and predict all these matches right here. I'm very excited for the show, as you should be as well. We're going to talk about it. So the first match I want to talk about, again, this is in no specific order, is probably the match that most people would think, or at least I think, is going to open the show. It is Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Now, when I think of Damian Priest, I think of somebody that is not only underrated, but somebody that rubs me off as like a Baron Corbin. He's got the size, he's got the look, he's got a good entrance. Unfortunately, though, Baron Corbin, the second he made his way to the main roster, I just didn't care about him anymore. Baron Corbin is to me not my kind of wrestler. I don't really like his style. I don't like anything that he really brings. I'm just not a Baron Corbin guy to begin with. But enough of Baron Corbin. This is Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. The second Finn Balor made his way back to NXT, all of a sudden, he was important again. This is going to be a match that opens the show. It's probably going to be a good match, but there's no reason to believe that Finn Balor would lose this match. Regardless of whatever Damian Priest brings to the table, I'm definitely going to go with Finn Balor to win this match. Again, I like Damian Priest a lot. I think his entrance is actually really, really cool and fun to watch. But again, that's just one of the things. This is probably a match that opens the show. It's a decent match, and it gets NXT started. Now, one of the things they have done is they have filmed a lot of their episodes ahead of time. So we don't have to worry about all of these things. We don't have to worry about that. You know, obviously, if you remember WrestleMania 36 going on, they cut the Battle Royal, which was smart, because there's no need for 20 people in a ring when there's a pandemic that is urging everyone to keep their distance. Finn Balor will beat Damian Priest. That is, I'm not going to predict the match order, but that's the match that I'm going to go with to probably open the show. How about some tag team action? I actually sounded really stupid when I said that, because I just remembered that there is a 6-woman tag team match. Shotzi Blackheart, Tegan Nox, and Mia Yim will take on Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, and Candice LeRae. I have no idea where they would probably put this on the card. This is probably going to be the match that I would think would go on second to last. The reason why I say that is because usually the match that's second to last on a card, not that it's not good, but it's usually the bring down match. Like if you ever notice wrestlers when they wrestle on WrestleMania, they never want to have the second to last match, because they don't want to sometimes it's a match that gets cut from the card, and sometimes it's just a match that is just very, very boring. I don't think it's going to be boring. I don't know where they put it. Shotzi Blackheart, Tegan Nox, and Mia Yim taking on Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, and Candice LeRae. Now, some people are saying this could be a Gargano and LeRae night. I think one of those things is true, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I'm not quite sure that the Candice LeRae, Raquel Gonzalez, and Dakota Kai win. They are definitely the much better team. It's hard to pick, but the more I think about it, it probably makes sense. I'm going to go with Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, and Candice LeRae to win the 6-woman tag match. Again, this is a match that really doesn't have too much importance, but it gets more women on the show, It'll probably be a nice little match to watch for people that are interested in tag team matches. Now, coming up next, now there's only 6 matches on this card, and I kind of feel like I'm breezing through this. But again, as the review goes on, I'm one of those people where I reveal in depth. The longer it goes on, the more important the matches become, and the more important the matches become, the more I dive into them. This match next here should be a very good one. Karrion Kross with Scarlett taking on Tommaso Ciampa. Now, before everybody says Ciampa can't lose, Kross really can't lose. Because Kross has been built like this dominant figure who's been unstoppable, and this is really, to me, one of his first tests of an opponent. You know, he's had the matches against the maybe not the jobbers, but just the guys that are independents. He's had all those kind of matches. But here is Kross's first test against a legitimate opponent. And I do expect this to be a good match. I expect almost probably any match on this card to be a good match. I've been given no reason to believe otherwise. Kross's entrance is really something that's pretty beautiful. It honestly is. You know, the way that they incorporated Karrion Kross into the show was just really awesome. You know, the attacking Ciampa. And I expect this to be a good match. I do expect Kross to win this match. I do not see Tommaso Ciampa winning. I do not see Kross losing. This is going to be a match where Kross is going to probably really cement himself as this guy who just can't be messed with. Everything that has been presented about Karrion Kross has been pretty much beautiful. I don't think there's been almost a better way that you could possibly book this. Karrion Kross wins. Scarlett is very beautiful, by the way, and I'm keeping it PG because you know what I mean. But Karrion Kross will beat Tommaso Ciampa. This could silently be one of the best matches on the card. Next up, now this match is a good match. The reason why it is a good match is because Charlotte can lose the NXT Women's Championship without getting pinned. And I think if you watch WWE and you don't live under a rock, you know that WWE does not want Charlotte to look bad in any of her matches. Hence the 75 title reigns. Charlotte versus Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. Charlotte doesn't need to be on NXT. She never needed to win the NXT Women's Championship. Charlotte being on NXT really brought nothing to it. Okay? So that was WWE's first mistake. Charlotte versus Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley should be a very good match, and it will be the best women's match. There's only 2 women's matches on the card. It will be the best women's match of the night, obviously. This will be a fantastic match. Who's going to win? Rhea Ripley also has no need to win the NXT Women's Championship, because I think that would probably be a step backward for Rhea Ripley. I don't think she needs to win a championship when she's already made her way to the main roster, had a WrestleMania match. The only logical option to me here is to have Io Shirai win. But how does Io Shirai win? Io Shirai will not pin Charlotte. Charlotte will not eat a pinfall in this match. Io Shirai will pin Rhea Ripley, because that will either set up Charlotte to have a feud with Io Shirai, or it will set up... No, it's not going to set up Rhea Ripley. I don't think Rhea Ripley is in NXT that much longer. I think once all this blows over, I think Rhea Ripley's out. And Charlotte doesn't need to be there either. I don't know what putting her down to NXT had any type of impact whatsoever. She doesn't need to be NXT Women's Champion. And I think that Io Shirai will win the NXT Women's Championship tomorrow night. I do see Io Shirai pinning Rhea. Charlotte doesn't eat the pin. Io wins. Io Shirai gets the Women's Championship in this. I believe, if I'm correct, there's 2 more matches to preview. And next, I'm going to actually preview what is probably my favorite match on this card. And some people might not think that way. It is Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American Championship. Johnny Gargano is winning this championship, and he's winning it tomorrow night. Let me tell you exactly why. Johnny Gargano, ever since coming in as a heel, has been great. He's been perfect. He's been fire. And Keith Lee's great as well. This will probably be the match that I'm most excited to see, because I know that Keith Lee and Johnny Gargano can absolutely blow the roof off of whatever house this show is playing in. I definitely think... Now, does Keith Lee get pinned clean? I don't know. Is there a screwy finish? Maybe. But Johnny Gargano will win the NXT North American Championship. And if there's one thing that I gotta promise you, is that the NXT North American Championship is obviously NXT's idea of a mid-card. But here's the thing. North American title matches are absolutely pretty damn good. I can't sit here and tell you that I've seen a North American Championship match that isn't that great. Johnny Gargano's going to win this damn title. How does it happen? I'm not sure if Keith Lee eats the pinfall cleanly. But Johnny Gargano's winning the NXT North American Championship, and if there's one prediction I have to lock in, it is that one. It is that one. Johnny Gargano wins in what could possibly be the match of the night. Speaking of matches of the night, we breezed through this preview, but it is what it is. It's the main event, a backlot brawl for the NXT Championship. It's Adam Cole, the longest reigning NXT champion of all time, putting his title on the line against Velveteen Dream. There are some precautions. If Velveteen loses, he can no longer challenge for the title as long as Cole is champion. Here's the thing. I like this feud. I think it's going to be a great match. But having it as a backlot brawl makes it interesting. Because if I'm correct, backlot brawls is kind of just a cluster. And that's what I'm kind of expecting. I'm kind of expecting a cluster. Here's the thing. There are so many ways that both of these guys can win. The first way that Cole can win is a screw finish. It's a backlot brawl. So from what I know, there's no disqualification. So if you think that the Undisputed Era are not getting involved in this main event, you need to get your eyes checked. Because the Undisputed Era will get involved in this match if there's no DQ to it. Velveteen can also win the title without probably having to pin Cole. I'm feeling like this could be one of those matches where it's called off because someone's too injured or too hurt to compete or continue. How does this go about? It's very difficult. It's very difficult. I think, in my honest opinion, they should give the title to Velveteen if they're going to do it now. Because, again, he can't lose. And if Cole retains his championship, who else is going to be thrusted into that picture? You know, Gargano is not, he's in a different thing. So I just don't think there's any reason for Cole to retain. He's had the title for over a year, but again, that's another sad thing because now, if Cole retains, or Cole loses, there's no need for him to stay. The Undisputed Era either splits or they all make their way to the main roster, and God forbid what could happen if Adam Cole is on the main roster and is ruined. I heard something the other day, one of Road Dogg's podcasts, it said Adam Cole, if he was 100 pounds more, would have been Universal Champion, and that is exactly where WWE has a very bad mentality for just image as a whole. Adam Cole's the complete package. Adam Cole's the complete package, but he doesn't need to hold his championship any longer. As much as a screwy finish would make sense, for some reason, I don't know what it is, part of me wants to say Cole, but I'm going to go with Velveteen to win the NXT Championship. It's his time, and I don't ever like to bring real-life politics into this, and I will not criticize WWE if they choose not to, but when I look at everything going on in the world, and again, it should not be a title handover because of all of the protesting, but I think that this would be a good thing. It's not going to justify anything, it doesn't, but I think that if the title was given to Velveteen, it would be semi-appropriate. But I thought that Velveteen was going to win the championship, or I thought that it should have been given to him regardless of what's going on in the world. But that is my hot take. Those are my predictions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for always as watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, push the video out there, do everything you got to do. Stay safe and enjoy the show.